Chicago Cycle Network, and today I'm here with my brother from another mother and a son my father could not disown.
Wakanda,
That's a good one.
Wakanda forever, right? Yeah, that's awesome.
No, this will be a good one, okay? This is going to be a really, really good one. We're about to exchange some manly stories, and after this, we're going to make some waffles. We'll get the reference. That's from Shrek, when Donkey was talking to Shrek. That's another story, but we're here to have fun and just get to know this guy. You guys have seen him, you know him, and he has, I think, an amazing story. He's in a network, he keeps it going, he backs different groups, and sometimes I think I've been mistaken for him, he for me, he for Baber, him for Patrick, but we're all different people, okay? But it is what it is. It is what it is, okay? So again, Chicago, he's in a network, he makes a network work, and he's one of the reasons why Chicago is an amazing place to be in, to bike in, and we just love our city, okay? The Windy City is an amazing place to cycle in. So for everybody who's been subscribing, supporting me, thank you. The last time I saw this guy called Jake, and he was like, "Oh, I love what you're doing." So people are noticing and people are seeing that we're really trying to bring awareness and some kind of exposure to what goes on in Chicago, because again, man, this place is an amazing place to bike in. And if you're new to the channel, we're all about highlighting what makes Chicago tick and the amazing people in the network. So today I'm here with my brother from another mother. Introduce yourself and let us know. Hey, thanks
for having me. Thanks for having me. Kendall Hudson from Chicago. I'm born and raised. I'm from Inglewood on the South Side originally. shout out to the Wood South Side. Been here vast majority of my adult life, a couple stints in other cities for the Army, but vast majority of the time been in Chicago.
Yeah, Chi-Town.
Yeah.
So again, this guy right here, I mean, you don't know this man, but truly an inspiration and the level of, as a family man, because we talk on outside of cycling, and just to see him being a good dad, a good person, it's really an inspiration. And we're gonna get into all that stuff, but just give us some time to get to them. So who do you bike with in Chicago?
Right now, since I got serious about cycling, it's been Triple X. And then I've joined the Misfits as well with Kevin Carter. Right, so I ride with both teams when I'm riding with a team, mostly Triple X. And then whoever's riding, man. If there's a ride somewhere out in some suburb that somebody said is cool, I'll go join them and ride. I don't, I think the bike gives you freedom. I've never been one to just be, I wouldn't say tied down, but hang out with just one group and kind of be cliquish. I like to get around and meet a lot of people, and then I've been blessed that way that in the cycling community since I started about 10 years ago, seriously, somewhere in there, that I've met quite a few people like you. So
yeah, 10 years. So what got you into cycling?
I was like similar to your story. I was a runner, not a very good one.
Me too. So,
but I ran and I got into running way back in high school as a cross country runner, and our basketball coach made us run cross country to get ready for basketball season, which kind of helped us to get into shape. And then I joined the Army, and the Army is all about running, right, for testing and all that other stuff, right? So as I got older, I've never been a small dude, and that's not real good for running on the knees, right? So I started having some knee problems, and I decided, well, maybe I'd get into cycling, because I saw on one of the Army bases that I was on, there was a cycling group. And they just rolled by me, and I thought that'd be cool.
Were they called Triplex or Misfit?
No. And I thought that'd be cool. And so when I came, I was in the Guard at the time, so I wasn't on that base full time. But when I got back to Chicago, I thought that'd be cool. And I was watching, it's funny how things just kind of come together. I was watching, I think it was an ESPN documentary on Ray Lewis.
That's right. He's a big cyclist.
Right. And
Reggie Miller is one too.
And I was watching that, and I saw him, it was kind of towards the end of his career, and he was kind of riding because his knees, right? But he had the whole get up on, right? He had a nice bike, he had the thing, and I thought, man, Ray Lewis, and he was the only dude that I saw that looked like me that I could identify with on a nice bike and all the other stuff. I mean, all the cats in the hood I grew up with, we were riding on Huffies and shit like that. I mean, but it was nothing like, I'd never seen anything like that. So I went to the Trek up in Highland Park.
Yeah.
And I ignorantly asked, like, hey, give me a bike. What do you need? What do I need? And he was like, yeah, the first bike he showed me was like $800. And I was like, I'd never spent that much on a bike. I didn't know you spent that much on a bike. And it was an aluminum entry level bike. So I went back home. I was like, sticker shock, I'm not buying that. And then it suddenly dawned on me, like, you should try it. So I went back to the shop the next day and bought it. Then I bought all the stuff and the helmet and all that.
And then it adds up
really fast. And I just started riding. And then I got hooked. And then I guess the first big ride I did was out in Arizona, the Tour de Tucson, because I was on an IT contract out there. So I took my bike out there. And it was a 100-mile ride, and I'd never ridden more than 20 miles, if that. But I figured, I'll figure it out. And then I finished. It took me, I feel like it took me all day.
100 miles.
Yeah, and I actually met a friend who's now a friend of mine. He's an attorney, and then he was another brother. I think we were probably the only two brothers in the ride. We just kind of clashed, and we've been friends ever since. So that whole ride was what really hooked me. Like, man, this is cool. We were going fast. I learned how to pace line that day.
I mean, he's a fast learner.
Right. That's pretty crazy. I mean, that day I just kind of figured, okay, get in line. And, I think I'd watched enough kind of Tour de France that, all right, this is what you do. I got the concept of it, and I was hooked from then on.
Wow. So he's been biking for 10 years, and he's we're going to talk about some of the crazy stuff we've done biking, but how many bikes do you have now?
3. Well, 5.
That jump.
No, 4. I take the back 4. I didn't count my wife's bike. But so I have a fixie that I just kind of ride around, and I kind of pimped it out a little bit. I put some gold rims on it.
Some 22, some spinners.
Right. Some actual little like gold. And I have a Specialized S-Works. It's my not S-Works, sorry. SL7, I meant to say. A Specialized SL7. I have a Specialized my gravel bike is a Diverge. And then I have a mountain bike, which is a Scott. Shoot, I forget there's like some numbers in there, but I have a Scott mountain bike.
Which are all amazing good bikes for the best.
Yeah. I try to put a lot of love into them just because I like adventure races.
Yeah, I was going to get to that because I mean, I've been stalking your, Strava, plus we talk. So what are some of the rides that you've done? Because I mean, I've seen you like doing some, I'm going here, I'm going to do this ride. I'm going here, I'm going to do this ride. So let people know some of the stuff you've done riding wise.
Yeah, I don't know when that started, but I kind of got tired of the local just riding around, right? And I also I've always liked to push myself. So I got into my head, I think a friend of mine gave me a dare. This was 3 years ago. The centuries I was riding, that's kind of Arizona and around here, the 100-mile ride I talked about, but then I kind of wanted to take it up a notch. And a friend of mine gave me a dare to ride Leadville, the famous mountain bike ride, which is 104 miles up in Leadville, Colorado, highest city in North America, and a pretty famous mountain bike race. Wow. As far as difficulty is concerned, right? It's a lifetime fitness event. Anyway, I'm not a mountain biker. Still I'm not, but I figured, okay, well, I figure it out.
Challenge myself a little bit.
And if I crash, I mean, I'll break a bone. I got 3 pins here. Not from racing, but it was more of a just riding around accident. But I figured, okay, well, I'll do it. And then he backed out. And the Leadville registration fee, I think, is like $500-$600.
That's a big chunk of money.
It's a big chunk of money, right? To go up to Leadville, the hotels will try to rape you because it's this little small town that 3,000 people from around the world descend on. So it's not a cheap race, but I figured I'd get ready for it, and that was kind of the race, I guess, that pushed me over the edge as far as doing the really hard stuff. the year before that, I went to their camp and then I broke my collarbone, which was just stupid. At the camp.
But you're still here. You're still here.
Yeah. It was just stupid. It was just stupid. I was digging for my car keys. Right, going down the mountain back towards Leadville after the first camp day, and I just was worried about where my rental car keys were, and I didn't know anything about mountain bike brakes. They're a lot more powerful than road bike brakes, these are pistons.
Mm-hmm.
So thinking about it, I hit the brakes really hard, and then the next thing I knew, I was like 10 feet down the road because I just went end over end.
Okay, so as we say, never let it show you a good story. He was reaching for his keys. He was getting chased by a bear. There was a dragon behind him,
right.
And that's how he crashed.
Right. Yeah.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah. So then I had to defer for a year.
Wow.
And then I went up there completely by myself. I drove and completed the race, and it was just an amazing day. It was crazy hard. There's, I think, I forget the amount of climbing. The pros were there. I got to see, because it's out and back. It was pretty cool seeing Keegan Swenson and all those guys pass you, and then see the race as it's unfolding as I'm way back there, right? So that was kind of the impetus for like me saying, okay, this is the kind of stuff I really want to do. It pushes me, and if nobody else wants to do it, that's cool too. I'll go by myself. So that was that, and then Unbound last year with the Triple X crew, which was, shout out to the Triple X crew. That was pretty cool. With a bunch of us went down there and completed that. I had to do a couple races in the lead up to Leadville called qualifier races, where you do a mountain bike race that maybe get you a little higher in the start corrals they have.
Gotcha.
So I did a race called the Lutsen 99er. I've been corrected because I kept saying Lutzen, and the Minnesota folks get on me. Lutsen 99er up in 84-mile mountain cross-country mountain bike race, one of the hardest days you ever have on a bike. I swear, if you in the hard races, go up there and try that with biting horse flies, river crossings, rain,
you're pulling your keys from your back and
So yeah, that Lutzen, Unbound. There's a bunch of.
But and you've done One Love too, right, in Atlanta?
I'm sorry.
You've done One.
Yeah, I did One Love. Yeah, amazing.
Because Kevin was talking about One Love, I'm like, man, that sounds pretty awesome.
Yeah, One Love's amazing. When I went, I think it was 2-3 years ago, something like that.
It was the year when it rained really hard before the ride.
No, I didn't mind. Didn't rain at all.
Because Kevin said that when he went, it just came on pouring so hard, like about half an hour before the race, and it just dried up, and then they just went out in high humidity.
Yeah. One Love's an amazing experience. You get down there on the Thursday night as an A group ride, and then there was like 150. It's like 150 black dudes in spandex just rolling through all these lights. So people are, it's Georgia, so people are kind of like, man, this is cool, this is dope, right? One funny story was Randy was the coach for Triple X, and it was like, I want to say like 100 of us, and this old white dude was going the other way, right? And I was like, man, he looks familiar. So then we kept going, and he turned around and he got on the front, and I was like, oh man, that's Randy, Triple X coach. And we kept going, and he hit it, and everybody else had to hit it, and I was having trouble keeping up. So I thought it was pretty cool that, and then I saw him later. He was ambassador for SRAM and that kind of thing. And so, but One Love's an amazing 3 days, I think, this Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday, 4 days.
Sure, you have heard about it. So maybe, there's so many things I want to go check out, because again, I've been biking for 5 years now, so I had a long way to go, and I'll build my fitness a little bit, and then I'll try to go and hang with these fast people. But let's see it work out. And then I also see that you do a lot of riding in Puerto Rico. Why Puerto Rico?
My wife's Puerto Rican, and so one of my first. Right after that 100-mile ride I did in Tucson, I kind of stepped it up a bit. I figured, I need to get my fitness better. I lost some weight. And then GFNY, Grand Fondo New York, used to run, I think they brought it back, but they used to run a one-day ride from San Juan to I forget the city in the mountains, started with an A, but I was going down there anyway every year with my wife, and I figured, okay, I'll bring my bike and then I'll try this ride. And it was about 80 miles total, 40 out, 40 back, with it was a lot of climbing. I want to say about 9,000 feet of climbing.
Are there hills in Puerto Rico? I thought
There's a lot.
Right. Of course, it's Caribbean, Jamaica.
Yeah,
a lot of mountains, of course.
Yeah. 9,000 feet of climbing, and I had the cheap bike with the entry level group set in it, and then quickly realized that wasn't going to work. It broke halfway through, actually.
Too much power.
No. Broke halfway through, actually, and I did that entire ride with like 2 gears. But it made me a better cyclist. I literally hadn't done any descents before that, like really serious descents. So I watched, shout out to GCN, Cycling Network.
Mm-hmm.
They had videos on descents. So I watched them and it helped.
That's the beauty about YouTube, right? So if you ever want to learn anything, like you just pick up YouTube, you look at it, and you find something.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy.
I had done some motorcycle racing / track days, right? So I got the concept of apexes and all of that. That was not foreign to me. So I was actually going faster than a lot of dudes that were more experienced. Plus, I guess I'm kind of a
heavier dude.
Yeah, the heavier dude, and I like going fast anyway. So
you might have been watching is it Pidcock, because he's like one of the best descenders.
No, this was back when GCN was early days. Early days, and it was kind of their first videos, and this is how you descend, and you want to be on the drops and keeping your leg up through the corners and all of that. So so Puerto Rico, man, and I just got hooked on it. There's a ride there now called although I don't think they had it this year, but it's called the La Vuelta Puerto Rico, which is a lot of people have asked me about. That's I graduated to that after kind of getting a bit more adventurous and wanting to ride more. So there's it's a 3-day ride around the island. 350 miles total. First day is like 140 days, and then 140 miles, and then 88, and then 132.
This sounds all like so much adventure, fun stuff, man.
Man, I've met some amazing people on my adventures, like the Puerto Rico ride. I got a couple friends now, Vic. I went back because they didn't do the La Vuelta this year. There's another ride. There's like 100% Puerto Ricans. I forget what they called it. There's a guy that's running rides down there now, but it's a 1-day ride from San Juan to Aguadilla, which is 138 miles. 138 miles. I did that this year. I wasn't in shape, so it was agony because the Puerto Ricans they're ripping it. They're ripping it because they're riding you around, right? And not surprisingly, but interestingly enough, the cycling community, the vibe down there, the scene is heavy. Like
I'm surprised. I have no idea that Puerto Rico are amazing cyclists.
Yeah, they're heavy. I don't know if he's still doing it, but they had one kid from Puerto Rico that was on Movie Star. I think his name was Abner. But the cycling scene down there is really serious. They spend a lot of money on their bikes. They got a lot of groups down there. That ride that I just did, as talked about, was very well organized. They had a chase van. If you're looking to ride down in it.
All right. So see, a lot of knowledge here. So Puerto Rico is a good place. All this other mountain bike stuff. If you have any question, you can reach him on Instagram or WhatsApp. No, yes. Triplex. It's easy. You'll see him. You'll see him. We do the Eric bike ride. And he's in Triplex, so you can find him, go to a bike ride. If you made it this far, you can always have a question. Just ask.
Reach out.
Reach out. Fill it in. So you mentioned about those guys riding all year round. So living in Chicago, are you a big fan of indoor trainer? How do you hold up with that?
It depends on what I'm training for. I can't say I'm a real big fan of it. I don't naturally take to it. But like if there's some big race like Unbound last year, I was definitely afraid of riding 200 miles in one day. So I figured I better get my ass in shape. And so if there's something big coming up like Leadville or Unbound, or this year I have the Rift, typically I'm trying to do one big crazy race a year, something that pushes me outside of my comfort zone. And so To answer your question about indoor cycling, I need something to motivate me to want to ride indoors, or I won't do it because I don't like it.
So that's what it is. I don't train. As I said, I don't train. I just ride. Okay, so
Right.
I just jump on a trainer because I know I just have to do it for my health reasons, my mental space, and all these different things. So yeah, I'm a huge fan of setup, man. I could bike indoors. Again, I said before, my longest ride indoors was 6 hours and 8 minutes, non-stop. I never got off the bike 6 hours and 8 minutes on my Zwift setup.
My longest is an hour and a half, and that's long for me.
But again,
usually it's an hour.
Yeah, but it makes you mentally tough because it takes a lot of like mental focus and strength to actually do it. So I use it as a way to like tough me up a little bit too. So because there's a mental component to biking, so that's why I use it to just kind of tough me up. Because a lot of people say I don't like it, but if you can overcome this being on that thing, it will bring your psyche to the next level. When you're out there struggling, well, for me, when you're out there struggling and you're like, you know what, if I can do all this time on the trainer, boom, I go to the front or whatever I'm doing, I'm like, and that's an extra little kick.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, for me now, it's my son lives in Arizona, so for me, I'd rather just get on a plane and go and ride or Puerto Rico or something.
That's what empty nesters say, right?
Yeah, well, yes,
yes. If I was empty nester, I'll be riding in Timbuktu. I'll be in Jamaica one day. I'll be in Port, but
I always want to ride in Jamaica. That's on the list.
They have a ride in Jamaica.
Yeah,
too.
I know.
So
I know.
I know
on the list.
That's one day. It's gonna.
That's
happen.
On the list.
Maybe we can do it together.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
Because I'm looking forward to like expand, my biking network.
There's a group out of One Love I saw that does tours in Jamaica, right? To take tours down there.
Yeah.
But I rather like ride with somebody local.
Well, they have also a local. I forgot the name of it. Of a local group put on a ride every year. There's also the Jamaica Triathlon training people, so they know like where to go. Like when you bike in Kingston or in Montego Bay, Negril, they have like some tours and stuff. But it's actually done by local people. When I was in Jamaica the year before, I was surprised that in my parish or my state in Portland, I saw a bunch of guys riding. I'm like, what? And they look fit as hell. But the crazy part is the best day to ride in Jamaica is on a Sunday. Why on a Sunday? On a Sunday, everything shuts down. There's almost no cars on the road. So you can drive in where I'm from on a Saturday or rest of the week, you see cars every 5 minutes. On Sundays,
nothing.
Maybe like every hour and a half you see a vehicle pass because that's just where people just rest. Culturally, Sunday is a rest day. And I saw some strong people. I think I even saw there's a girl, a Jamaican chick on Legion team. I think I saw her in Jamaica biking too. There's a girl from
on Legion?
On Legion. She's Jamaican. And I think I saw her. I'm like, and I saw her in telling me, hey, I think I saw you in Jamaica riding. And she's like, yeah, I think I'm like, yeah, it was you. That's crazy,
nice.
Right? Yeah.
That's nice.
Crazy stuff.
That's on the list.
Yeah. So you see, I want to do one big ride, one big event a year. I think I'm gonna say two because you also do this race where you're running with like about 1,000 pounds on your back, right?
That's called the Bataan Death March. Last year was my first year. I did it with my son and a friend. My son's.
And what exactly is this
so the Bataan Death March is a commemorative event to commemorate the actual Bataan Death March in World War II, where the Japanese soldiers surrounded a battalion of American soldiers and then force marched them, I think about 70, 80 miles. Apologies if I'm off on that. And between the Filipino soldiers and the American soldiers, less than half of them made it. The Japanese beat and tortured and all of that right on the way. And so every year, this march, we call it, it's kind of multifaceted, meaning like you can run it as a marathon, you can march it with nothing on, or you can do what's called civilian or military heavy, in which you can march with however much pounds you want, minimum 35.
How much do you do?
50. Last year I did the full 26 miles. This year I only did 14 because they need to reorganize that thing because the signs were off. It's probably my fault, but I didn't read the signs. They cut off half the course and they kind of rerouted it. So it was a loop instead of a big loop. It was like the 2 laps.
Ah.
And I read the signs wrong and everybody was cheering and I was like 4 times. Well, I mean, I still got 9 miles to go. And they're like, nah, you're done, man. Like, so,
Oh man, that's
so this year, I only got to do 14, but I found last year that it was, in addition to being a cool thing to do with my kid, who was also ex-Army, former Army, I was corrected. It helped break up the cycling year. I felt a lot stronger, especially when I got to Unbound and some of the races I did before Unbound. So I thought it was an excellent. And so now this year I want to make. Well, sorry, now it's a thing. I want to do it every year.
Yeah, I mean, everybody keep on saying, like, I'm telling you, this cross training thing, it works, man. If you do a little bit thing outside of biking, it'll make such a big difference.
Yeah, that was the first time.
Vice versa.
That was the first year I had done something like that. Usually just been all cycling. And then I felt like, man, this is a lot. This made me a lot stronger. And the whole running thing, like I know there's folks, like Vance and Rafa that are runners, and the running thing. So I felt like, okay, this is in my wheelhouse. Plus, I got to be around a lot of airmen and Army, active duty, and back in my element and around some folks. So it's a pretty cool experience.
Oh, nice. Yeah. So let's go back to talk some bike. Let's get some cheat code from Kendall. So what size tire are you running on your bike now? Bicycle.
On my road bike is 28, which I got from you and Patrick. Right, just the idea to. Plus, I needed some new wheels anyway.
And how do you think about them versus your bike riding 25s before?
Yeah, I was running 25s.
What do you think? Because I think they're golden.
I think so too. I can't say I could feel the rolling resistance and all of the science that they're talking about, right? Just because, a couple watts or whatever. I'm not.
No, I think that, like, at my level, running 25 versus 28 probably would make me win a race because I'm not that good.
Right.
But I can tell I do feel a little bit better of like just like comfort on the bike.
I'll say that's what I was going to say.
Right.
It's a lot more comfortable.
A lot more comfortable. And I have on my only disc brake bike, I have some 32s. And my God, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's even better. 32s, man.
Yeah. The 28s.
But all these are 28s.
Okay.
But I'm coming from 25s.
I also feel a lot more stable in the corners on faster group rides because I love cornering. That's kind of where I kind of catch up to the group or do well because I've kind of gone away from the really fast training and more zone 2 because the stuff I like to do now, the big races or the big long races, don't require that I'm
the fastest.
I'm hauling ass, you know what I mean? Which is kind of why
more endurance,
more endurance, right? It's kind of up in here, I'm more. So, but when I am on a really fast group ride and we hit a corner, I feel like the 28s give me a little bit more confidence. It's less fishy. On my gravel bike, I'm on 45s, which you watch the Dylan Johnson videos, wider is better. I found the 45s to be a really cool sweet spot.
Yeah, I think these guys are probably going to start running 45s and road bikes now, man.
Probably that's where we're going. Yeah,
they're going crazy with this rolling resistance and science and all these different stuff. But hey, maybe. But again, I'm riding 28. It's pretty awesome. Yeah. 32, pretty awesome. So I can feel somewhat of a difference. But again, at the level I ride at, I ain't gonna win Tour de France anytime soon.
Right. So it's about comfort and
I can just go to my group rides and I think I'll just do just fine.
Right. Right.
So I bet all your bikes are a disc brake, no rim brake.
No rim brakes. No rim brake. I would never. I'm not hating on rim brakes.
Rim.
Yeah.
Rim,
no.
Rim.
So for me, like I like to. There's a ride in Georgia that folks should check out if they really want to get some training in, called the 6 Gap Century. I've been talking about that for years. I did that three years in a row down in Dahlonega, Georgia. In Georgia, I didn't know this, but a gap is a mountain. So there's 6 mountains in Lance, and they used to train down there. It's 104 miles with like, I don't know, 14,000 feet of climbing, something like that. There's a lot of climbing, including 2 of the steepest climbs in America. I bring that up to say that was right around the time I did it 1 year with rim brakes and I did it 1 year with disc brakes. And some people would say there is no truth to it, but I found that there's a lot more confidence And then if you're running carbon rims, right, there was a couple dudes that heated up.
Yep.
Right. In Puerto Rico, the one ride that I did, the GFNY, a young lady crashed pretty badly because she heated her. Now, granted, one folks could say that, if you ride in the brakes constantly, then you're going to heat them up, right?
Right.
Okay. And I get that. I get that argument. But if you're not as experienced like that young lady probably was, and she's riding them brakes and they delam and they delaminated and she crashed, and it was a pretty bad crash.
No, I know. I agree with when it comes to the disc brake versus rim brake. I 100% agree with the whole idea. If you do a lot of like mountain stuff and descending, disc is the way to go.
Which is what I like, because I like to travel.
Right.
But then I'm in,
But for me, I'm a flatlander.
Yeah.
Other than Tower Hill Climb or the roller, that's about it for me. Or we go to Barrington, but there's not much descending. It's a little rollers and stuff.
I mean, the other thing is nobody's making it anymore. So you can't find parts. Even if I did love it, right? Like I hunt. I just hunt. I'm a marketplace or eBay hunter. So, but no, they've actually made some better carbon wheels now for rim brake. Oh, really?
And also they've actually moved away from like they have like specific carbon rim brake now, brake pads that's made from like cork and stuff. And it's really like my bike have all cork stuff, so it's not like plasticky melty stuff. So I mean, I do smell the burn sometimes, but if I'm not really braking, but for most times around town here, I think
right. I mean, so it's dependent on your lifestyle and what you like to do.
Yeah. But for someone who travel and do the climbing, I 100%. If you do a lot of like descending, rim brake. But really, if you're descending, you shouldn't use brakes anyway, because you're just going down.
Yeah, I mean, do you find though that the other thing I found when I was on rim brakes is they don't, in the rain when it's wet, they don't.
Yeah, so I decided to ride in the rain. Problem solved.
Good point. Yeah,
Swift.
Good point.
There's no ride in the rain.
Good point.
And the disc brake, they're loud. In the rain, they're loud. They're way too loud. So I don't really miss that stuff. Yeah, so we get to learning so much about Kendall. About he's a very adventurous cyclist in Chicago. We have him. If you need some information, he's here. So we also have to adjust things like this because there's not many brothers, people of color like you and I in Chicago. So is there any obstacles that you find in Chicago as being a black cyclist? Or if it's none, it's none. But whatever we can improve based on your experience.
I would say the only obstacle was mental, right? I mean, the community itself, considering it's mostly white or other, not us, right? Has been nothing but welcoming.
100%, I agree.
Right, nothing but welcoming. I can't. I've made a ton of friends in the cycling community that I would not have otherwise made. But to answer your question, it's been mostly mental. If I say that the obstacle is just me getting over the vast majority of my life, I've been in things where I was the only black dude. My Army unit, my Black Hawk unit, there's a picture of us on deployment. I'm the only black dude there. Most of the jobs that I've had have been in tech, and I've been, especially in the early days, I was the only black dude there. I was only black. Not only was I only black dude in my Army unit, but I was only black crew chief in the state of Illinois. So a long time ago, I had to get over that. If I was going to do something that I wanted to do that didn't have black people doing a lot of it, then I would just have to erase the fact that I was the only black dude doing it. And so cycling is kind of one of those things.
I hear it.
Right. Where, even the XXX, me getting with them, I think that Jared was there, or still there, but I didn't see a lot of him. I was gonna join 1027, which is I think a defunct team now.
Yeah, they're old school.
I was that morning. I was gonna ride with them, but they never showed up. And the XXX guys zoomed by on Ridge, and I was like, "Oh well, who is those guys?" And then I went on their website and found them and joined. And so I guess to answer your question, yeah, it's just been mental, man. There's been no like real obstacles to speak of. I do wish that. So Major Taylor on the South Side, right? Everybody knows cycling history. Hopefully you look up Major Taylor.
Yeah, right.
So the brothers on the south side, the traffic sucks, man. Even trying to get down and ride with Kevin and Misfits.
Yeah,
and those
I
guys,
told him
right?
I'm gonna make it for sure, but we have to like I have to leave here like 4:30 in the morning because I'm not driving down there.
Yeah, I'm not right.
I'm riding down.
So the
Like
Saturday morning rides with
miles.
Misfits and Kevin and those guys, and I got invited and I joined their team. But even then, like it's just a Saturday morning thing. Like getting down there for the afternoon rides, which I wish I could do.
Yeah, me too, because I
Right.
want to branch out. I've been saying I want to go to the Mary Taylor ride and whatever, but it's gonna happen. I have to plan it really.
Yeah, I'd
well.
have to just, and that's an excuse.
Yeah,
right?
take a day off from work and then go down and because
Yeah.
it's a 6 o'clock start and all these different things. But true, it's funny thing you say you went to the Triple X website and found them and everything because so when I heard about Triple X the first time, wasn't even thinking, and I literally typed triple like xxxxxxx.com. And I wasn't even thinking.
Now, I've made that mistake too, man.
And I
Some
was
people are
like-
like, Triple X, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like,
Oops.
go to triplexx.com. It's triplexx.org. So
Exactly.
apologies to all the people that I've sent to triplexx.com.
Yeah.
You either probably had a good time or you didn't. I don't know, depending on.
I know. And then one time, I think I was joking with Patrick, and I sent it to him in a text message. So when they put the website, it will show you the front of the website, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to say that. I'm sorry. It's hilarious.
Right.
Yeah, this was a funny story I find when I searched initially for triplets.com, and I was like, oops, wrong cycling website.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's true. I think we have to get over the mental aspect. Look, I'm a cyclist. You're a cyclist. It don't matter what color we are.
Right.
We're somebody in 2 wheels. Get out there, have fun, be safe, do it because you love it. And I think for sure this is my experience in Chicago. Like I've shown up to all the different biking groups, and that's the reception I get. Nobody's like, "Oh, you're this, you're that, you're whatever." So that's why, again, I asked the question because I don't really like labels anymore. Just see me as a person. I understand there's a lot of history behind all the different stuff, historically speaking, but just like you, I'm a cyclist. I'm not a black cyclist. I'm a cyclist.
Well, I mean, yes, very true. I think that do I wish that when I ride with the Misfits or when I went to One Love, I suppose it'd be the same as if you rode with a bunch of Jamaican guys. There's a culture that you share.
Right.
Right?
Commonalities.
There's commonalities. And so while you're riding and talking in coffee shops, there's jokes, there's things that go on that are said
that we get.
That you get.
That other people wouldn't
get. That you get, right? that you wouldn't necessarily normally, like there's things that when I ride with the Misfits, there's conversations that are had, there's things that happen when I ride with just you and Baber and Patrick, right? That I won't have with Triple X. And there's no knock on that. It's just a different cultural kind of thing.
100%. Right? Like sometimes my wife seeing with my Jamaican friend and she's like, who are you? Because we just hitting it and just doing her thing, and she's like, what is going on here? So I understand that special connection. And again, I love to see like that everybody out there, whether it's male, female, black, white, but again, we're all cyclists. But again,
sure.
There's some cultural disconnection that we just that void just can't be filled because we're just at a level, just at a different level.
Yeah.
We get
different. Yeah.
And I think about Patrick and Baber. So you're in for the ups and downs, right?
Yeah. I'm definitely there.
So for people who don't know, the ups and downs is a race in Elizabeth that we all do. I think who got us to that race? It was you or Patrick who talk about it.
I think it might have been me, but it could have been Patrick. I'm not sure.
And we've been doing the ride for like what 3-4 years now.
3 years. Yeah, last year we skipped, but I think it was 3 years before that.
Yeah, because I was in Jamaica last year.
Yeah,
so that's why I didn't do it last year because I was in Jamaica.
I don't know why I didn't do it last year. There was another race I decided because we were preparing for Unbound. So.
Yeah, but I know that man. When they finish, we hang out and then we just have good food at this little restaurant. It is right where the
I've invited some more folks, so hopefully they show up. I think
I'm registered. So I'm ready to go. It's next weekend.
Should be fun.
Lock and loaded to go. I'm thinking about which bike to ride, and of course I'm gonna try to give Baber a hard time by climbing all my climbs at my 54 chain ring. I'm a madman, but that's something I do just for.
Well, I just watch you guys go off into the sunset.
And it was wait, and then
keep my continuous my thing. There's some more folks showing up though too, so hopefully they come out.
So that's why I'm thinking about Nicole, because I'm thinking Nicole, if you want to do the 100K, there might be some sort of group going. So if you decide you want to hit it hard and you want to go, you can do the full thing. But she's still on the fence. So let's see. But these are some segments I want to hit it really hard. You know?
I think some people, now that I've done these long crazy races, as some folks call them, right? And I've had people push back, like, that's too long, blah blah blah. I think you really got to get into your head that I was racing. I think it was Lutzen, and this old man gave me something that stuck with me all this time, which was you just take what the day gives you, right? And so if you fall off the back and you're by yourself, that's an awesome time to work through your demons,
right?
Or whatever it is you got going on. The point then is not like if you started your day and the point was to race and you don't have the legs or the mental thing or whatever it is you didn't bring that day, right? Then Omar drops me and I'm just by myself. And then the point becomes finish. When you started, the point was race, and then it became you just gonna finish. And so, I see Nicole and other folks like that, and I'm like, just come on out,
yeah,
right? Like,
I
do you?
I think couple last week or so, I think I posted my Strava because it just popped in my head, and it's like, you spin to win and stroke to finish. That's good. Again, I'm for people who know me, I am the guy who is always joking about things. Please don't take me serious. It's all for a good, just for a laugh. And I'm the guy in Chicago who bikes with everybody. You bike with Misfit and like, I bike with everybody. And because Chicago is a fun place.
Yeah.
Some amazing people here to just go shoot some crazy talk at coffee stop, or we hang out and have a few beer, barbecue. Hey, what happened to barbecue this year?
Yeah. Let's do it. Yeah, seriously. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, this year. in the yard, man. Yeah.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. So I mean, anything you want to leave us before we go again? I need to touch on this. Because you keep on mentioning about the army. What do you want? Can you talk about stuff like little background, not in detail, but like some stuff you did?
Oh no, yeah. I joined right after 9/11. I had a decent career going. You could say the Army is a great career as well. I joined right after 9/11, just got motivated, gave it up. I was having a drinks with some friends who were going to join. And then they didn't show up to the recruiters and I showed up the next day. Was in the reserves for a long time in Med Corps. And then my son wanted to join the Army after high school, and he wanted to be in aviation. And so I decided to switch from, or at least the recruiter asked me if I wanted to fly. And I said, of course. So then, he went, and then I switched over from Med Corps to aviation, and boy, what an adventure.
So you served with your son?
I did. I got to deploy with my son, actually.
Wow.
I wish I had a picture. It's one of my favorites. It's like my favorite.
And where was the deployment?
We were in Kuwait.
Wow.
And then, so I became a Black Hawk crew chief. And that was, I think, the coolest job in the Army. Shout out to the 106. My mad dogs.
106 on Parks.
My mad dogs. And then I became a drone operator after that. And then I was contracting, and I spent a few rotations in the Middle East doing that as well. So I'd say the Army has been, other than the birth of my son and my family, has probably been the biggest influence in my life, right? Just because, I mean, I already had discipline and all of that because I was a high school and college athlete. I played basketball. I didn't finish because my son was born early, long story, even though I was on scholarship. But it gave me that sense of adventure, right? It gave me the confidence to go push that, like, you could just try and do something crazy.
Yeah.
And it'll work out.
Yeah. So, and you do fly, right? What you do fly some type of birds? Right?
No. I was trained private pilots. Licensed to small planes, and
so you do fly small planes?
No, not anymore. Okay. Like I got, I soloed. I got to the point where I soloed a couple aircraft, And then I just did it just because I wanted to prove to myself that I could. But then realized that, and this is no knock on folks that have small planes, right? It's a really, really expensive hobby. Really expensive hobby. And so I figured, okay, well, I don't want to be a pilot as a profession. And I at the time I didn't really have the money to be like, okay, go buy a Cessna, and then, you know, and even if you have a Cessna, it's like kind of flying state to state for cheeseburgers, that kind of thing. So I was just like, okay, this is something I soloed. I'm good. That was it. And then so when you see me on Facebook, sometimes every now and then I'll go and do what's called a discovery flight, right, where I get to fly with somebody experienced, and I take I take the controls and then fly around a little bit, and I just get out of my system, and that's it.
Wow, you're like Jesus take the wheel. No, Ken will take the wheel. That's pretty awesome. That's pretty. See, look, we have cool people, man, that can fly planes solo and all this crazy stuff. Like, I wish I could fly a plane and all the cool stuff.
Well, you could. You can. It's not that hard, man. It's not hard. It's not hard at all.
Just need to have money for this expensive hobby, and I could probably do it.
Yeah. The training, it's not cheap.
Yeah. So in conversation, I remember you saying that they made a movie about some guy that was you related to or something like that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Tell the story.
Yeah.
See, I remember these things.
Yeah. I see. Jesse Brown, who was the first black naval aviator, fighter pilot in Korea. There's the Tuskegee Airmen, who everybody know about,
Mm-hmm.
right? But those were Army Air Corps, right? He was the first Navy Navy fighter pilot. He's a cousin of mine. My family's from Mississippi. He's from Mississippi. And then that was just a thing that we were proud of inside of the family, right? And even inside of my family, he's kind of obscure. I didn't find out about him until we had a family reunion in Mississippi, and a cousin of mine who had fought in Vietnam was wounded. He was an older guy, and he was like, hey, and I was in the Army at the time still, and he was like, hey, you know, our family has a long history of military service, right? There's been somebody in every conflict, right? And he's like, hey, you know, Jesse Brown's our cousin. I didn't know who Jesse Brown was back then. This was before the whole, you know, they wrote the book. It's Devotion is the movie, if you ever check it out. And so, you know, fast forward, when the book became popular and they made a movie out of it, right? It kind of popped up again.
Who was the movie again? Who was the main actor?
I forgot, man. It's the same guy that's in, he's Kang, and his brother that's Kang.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
And he's also, he was in Rocky.
He was in Rocky.
The new Rocky one.
So the movie, I'm going blank on his name now, but yeah, watch the movie, guys. So you're saying that your cousin story was inspired that movie.
Yeah, it was. It's not only inspired, but that's actually the story of his.
That's his
biopic. Yeah, it's like the story of his life.
That's pretty cool, man. I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it. Yeah. I'm looking at the movie right now. I'm looking at Kang. I'm looking at the guy. He's the one who got the abuse case dropped against my mom.
Yeah.
And he's I'm going blank on his name. I'm looking at it. Is it Jason something? No.
I forgot. Jonathan something, I think.
Jonathan Major.
Yeah.
Jonathan Major. So
and interestingly enough, like his life, like I learned a lot about him in the movie. Like he spoke French and his adventurousness, especially coming out of the South and going through what he had to go through, being the only black pilot in flight school. And, you know, it's the typical thing. The white guys you're not supposed to be here. They beat up on him, that kind of thing, right? Like it made sense for me personally, because there's this line that, like, you know, why is my cousin like that? And why are some of my cousins, why do we, male and female in my family, you know, this kind of thing that just, we're trying to go out and just see the world and do the craziest thing that we can do.
It's probably genetics, man. I mean, we have in the science field, we say that, you know, we think information can be passed down through genes. For example, you might find yourself doing something one day or see somebody, you're like, why am I doing this stuff? I've never done it before, but I know what to do. Or somebody like, I know that person, but they're like, we've never met. But there's an idea that basically, maybe you never met them, or maybe your great grandfather met their ancestors, and the message get passed down to you whether it is something behavior or as a memory. So these ideas exist. So it might be why.
I believe in that. I mean, somebody asked me, somebody in my wife's family asked me about the Puerto Rico ride. Like, why? Why would you ride 350 miles around it? And I thought about it, and I was like, I can't not. Like, I don't know what it is, man. Like, even Eric Dietrichson, shout out, was in Triple X, and he's like, hey, man, let's do the Rift. Or it might have been the other way around, which is a gravel race in Iceland, in Reykjavik. And I just like, I got to do it.
I have a friend who did it already. So when we were ready, my friend Dr. Amor Alam, he did it.
Oh, did he?
So I can hook you guys up, and he can give you some pointers.
I don't even want to hear about it. I've gotten to the point now, like I don't really want to hear about it. I just want to do it, right? And then I form my own opinion. I think that's not trying to be arrogant, but I've done enough of these.
I like that approach, actually.
Right? That like between Leadville and Unbound and Luton and Puerto Rico and all of these and local gravel rides and all of this crazy stuff, I've broken bones. I mean, I've kind of experienced just about everything there is to experience. So it's kind of like I'll figure it out when I get there.
Yeah,
I kind of want to form.
The part that you blow mind was saying that his GPS wasn't working, so he made some crazy turns and all kind of madness. But anyway,
yeah, that's how
I mean, honestly, it can help you. Maybe if you want like ideas about like hotels or where to stay, whatever, but not the ride itself, but like.
Oh yeah, we already got. Yeah, I got some army buddies of mine, and we're going.
Oh, perfect.
Figure all that out.
Perfect. Right, man, empty nester, man. You guys are all the cool stuff, man. One day I want to be like this guy when I'm retired or my kids are out of the house.
Yeah, that's the kids are out of the house. That's the thing. But I only had one, man. So, it was just kind of easy.
I have 5.
My
oldest boy going to start college, and then the youngest is 6. So we should be have a long way to go. I won't be the emptiness level, but maybe like 55 or something like that. So I got to. But we're trying to pack things as we, me and my wife, as we go along. So yeah, it's good. It's good. Yeah. Man, look what we learned from Kendall today. Who knew these things about Kendall? Like when I saw people at Triple X, like, oh man, the interview with Matt Talbert, I didn't know all those things about Matt. I'm like, what? Yeah, so that's the whole point. I really want to highlight people in the network because we're the ones who make Chicago what it is. No matter what people say, we all make this thing work. And there's so many people out there, and as I said before, if you want to come and share a story, I'm here. I'm always ready to sit down and talk to people. And the new thing I started recently was I have a guest book. So if you come on the show, you can sign the guest book. And for all the people who didn't sign the book as yet, I'm gonna hunt you guys down, and you guys all gonna sign this book. Okay, I got you. I'm gonna find you guys. And if I can't find him, Ken's gonna help me find you guys because he's in the army, so he knows. He knows how to find. Right. He fly drones. He'll find you with his drone.
Right.
All the cool stuff. So yeah, Kendall, thank you for having me. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me.
It was awesome. We're learning a lot about you. He's in the network, guys.
Hopefully my story is interesting.
No, it's so interesting. I mean, think about it. His cousin inspired a movie called Devotion, starring Jonathan Majors. Come on, how crazy is that? I mean, he does all these mountain bike rides. He got chased by a dragon and broke his arm, his shoulder, all these different things. So we have, and if you see him out here, guys, he is a white specialized. He's hard to miss. He rides a lot on the bike path, right? So time to
that's my regular ride.
I've driven with my family going through the lagoons, and I'm like, yep, that was Ken Laden's path. So so people see you.
Yeah, you stay out of the traffic, man.
Yeah.
If you're by yourself, you stay out of the traffic.
Nothing wrong with that. So, and again, he's on Triple X, Major Taylor. We'll do many rides. Eric Bikes ride. Invite him out for a ride and say, all right, let's go do it. And
I'll definitely show up.
Exactly. We just have fun. And this is what I think Ken is one of the cool dudes in the system. And he's one of the cool dudes that if you ever get to meet him and hang out with him, man, you have many stories. He has many stories. As I said before, he's a good dude. So guys, we have guys like Ken in the network, guys. As we come to an end, as I would say, let's keep the miles and smile going, guys, and until we meet again.